Welcome back, it's the Gamechanger. So today in this video we have a drop fade with my boy Fresh. What makes this tutorial very helpful, I think, and resourceful, this is a very difficult cut, especially when the client comes in with no shape to the fade, meaning they either haven't had this haircut done in a while or you're starting this haircut off. What makes that hard is that the hair on the sides are so thick. So now you have to do a lot of debulking and make sure that you don't take off too much bulk in one area, leaving a chili bowl look. And my boy Fresh is the perfect candidate because he has very thick hair. So the first step when you're doing a drop fade with the fro on top, with very thick hair, you want to keep the primary line, which is this line, super low. Why? Because if you want it to be a low drop fade and you start the line a little high or in the middle, it gives yourself much less space to work in. And when I say work, I mean to fade and transition, to debulk, right? You're gonna need space for all of those things. So, man, this can be such a difficult haircut because you can take hair off, but you cannot put hair back on. Now, I'm gonna do a lot of talking, a lot of tips in this video. If you want to watch this haircut without the audio, I actually have a video that I did ASMR where I'm not talking at all. But for tutorial and teaching purposes, I'm actually gonna do a lot of talking because, man, this can be such a tough cut. And I've been cutting hair for over 12, 13 years, and if I don't find myself focused, one wrong stroke, now I gotta change the levels, now I have to change the transition points. So you want to be very cautious, careful, and calculated when you do this haircut. Also, I'll leave a link to all the clippers that I'm using. So in this video, I'll be using the Barber FX, the clipper I'm using right here, the FX trimmer. Really good tool, very strong motor, solid blade. I'll be using the Barber Gold clipper for trimming. What I like about that clipper is that it has notches, so it's very easy to find the lever and stay there. I'll be using Magic Clippers, one of my go-to clippers, and I'll be using the, what was it called? The Ergos. Smooth clipper, long blade, decent motor, but it's a very solid clipper. And for all the combs and stuff, I'll be leaving links for that as well. So now, after I do my primary line, it's very important. See, if you notice, I'm not using the comb right here. I'm using the pick. Why? Because of the thickness of the hair. You see that? So much bulk in there. I'm going to have to do so much debulking. Now, the paradigm to that is that if I over debulk, right? If I over debulk, then I run the risk of making like a chili or a large line at the top of the fade. If I under debulk, then now it's looking like a chili bowl on the lower area. So I really want to make sure that I debulk enough, see, right up in this area to make the transition work smooth. Now, what am I looking for? I don't want to just debulk. I'm debulking a specific area of this haircut. I'm debulking the area where the fade or the transition area is mainly going to be. Now, usually I will put the secondary line in before I debulk, but with his hair being so thick, what I'll do is I'll debulk partially with the 3 guard, then a 2 guard to clear out some workspace, right? I want to clean out my workspace before I really get to work, because if I debulk with all that thickness, my lines won't be even and straight because there'll be overhang from the really long hair that's above that secondary line. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some hair off, I'm debulking some of that mass out. I mean, he has such thick hair. You can't even see his scalp. Very amazing hair texture. So that's what I'm doing. When you run into these type of haircuts, it's really all about preparation, right? The better you prep and stay calm, it's much easier to execute the desired look. Now, so I will be teaching like how to cut, but I'm also going to be giving you just skills on how to fade. Now look at that. You see how it's much more thin in those areas now. So now that I have it thinned or debulked, what I'll do now is create that secondary line. Now, with the secondary line on the fade like this, I'll make it a little bit thicker. The width of that secondary space is a little wider than my standard secondary line. Why? Because there's so much mass of hair. And if I make that line too thin, no matter how good I do that fade or transition, it can look like a chili bowl, because what you're essentially doing is going from bald to really thick hair. So what you need is a very thick transition point to make that gradual change in transition. Hope that makes sense. Now, another big tip, if you look at my offhand, which is my left hand in this video, it's not only grabbing the scalp. What I'm doing is I'm stretching the skin because I want to extend the workspace as much as possible. I don't have much room for error. So when I stretch the skin, when I stretch the scalp, it makes the skin stretch to its maximum point. So now I can work more in that area. And I'm tightening the skin as well, which gives my clipper an easier glide across the skin. I hope that makes sense. If not, rewind it into it. I tried to break that down as simple as possible. Now, another big key point. If you notice with this primary line, so that's a primary line I'm taking out. I'm taking out a primary line. If you notice, look at the hair. I'm not taking that hair away in that secondary section. I'm actually blending it in. I'm fading it from bald to light. That's the art of it. The art of this is to go from skin, primary line, secondary section to secondary line to thick mass hair on top. So I want to blend in the first line. I want to blend in the first line. That's my first step. Then after I get a nice smooth transition in that secondary section, then the secondary line, which is where the dark hair is, the very thick hair, then I'll debulk that and then I'll blend that in. I want to break it down to steps, but I want you to do it with fluidity, right? I don't want you to fade choppy, but I do want you to have a systematic approach so that way you can execute this to the desired look. After that now, so I'm going to kind of walk you through as you're watching work. Then, no, just watch, and I'll be back on this time. But really, no, let's talk about my technique, right? If you look at my hands, I'm not aggressive with the clipper. I'm not super heavy-handed. I have a very light stroke because I don't have to bully the hair to get that nice look. I take my time and let the clippers work. I keep my clippers nice and oiled. Got a good blade. I take my time. Now, that's that. What I'm doing now is I'm debulking this secondary section. Very, very important. So if I was to come at this section with a one guard, it would be so hard to not gap them, take too much hair off. You want to listen to this. The lighter the area, the easier to fade. So that means the thinner the area that I have to fade, the much easier it is to create a smooth transition or fade. So my first step is to debulk. I always prep my workspace before I even get going. Now, even when I go with the grain, right, I'm still debulking the same way. So I'm debulking. I mean, it's a form of debulking. So I want you all to watch, and I'll be back in a little bit. Also, you see, I'm not having to use the pick anymore because I took a lot of that thickness and bulk out. So now I can use the wide tooth section on my comb. All right, so and it's kind of working my way down the number. So I start with the 2. Now this white guard you see is the 1.5. Also switch the clipper up. So what I like about this clipper is that I switched out the lever, so it has an extended like blade. I switched out the blade. It has an extended blade, which kind of gives me a few more centimeters when it comes to opening that blade all the way up on the lever, which kind of just gives me a little more space to work with smaller guards, whatever. So yeah, smooth clipper. So it's okay. It's okay. I like it. So now, basically, what I'm saying is, so yeah, I went from the 2 to 1.5, and all I'm doing is so listen. This is my trick. This is my tip, and I want you to hear me. I don't just cut. I have a purpose. And I'm intentional. I'm very intentional. So I'm working a certain area. If you know, when I'm cutting hair, you can't see my eyes. My eyes are always looking. I'm studying. I'm focused. You know, I try not to talk too much. I listen to my audiobooks, and I'm honed in. So when you see me working a certain area, I am literally working a spot. Now, if you see, I went from a 2 to a 1.5 to a 1 guard. And when you do these type of haircuts, listen, in the perfect world, when we do haircuts and transitions and fades and bald fades, drop fades, yada, 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 everything will go smooth. It would take a few strokes to do it, and we would be fine. But that's not how life works, especially not barbering. So I don't want you to get discouraged when you've been working a certain area and you feel like, okay, it would take me about, because I do this sometimes, it's going to take me 5 minutes to taper this side, 5 minutes to taper that side, 5 minutes to taper the back. You might run into a snag, and no matter how many times you cut this one person's hair, at that day, that client's hair may not be cooperating. They might have washed their hair 20 minutes before the haircut, and their hair might not be fully dry. They might have washed their hair the day before. Now they have natural oil secreting from their skin. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many factors on why a client's hair or scalp or skin may not cooperate. So I don't ever want you to get caught in the, oh, it's not working like I thought it should. Now I'm frustrated. That's the note. Now, so now that I have pretty much debulked, I'm down to where it's time to blend it to sections. What I'm doing, if you notice, I'm using the corner of my blade. I'm back with my Babyliss, my Babyliss FX, and now, I'm just getting to it. My Babyliss Gold Clipper, and you're just working areas, and I'm taking my time. So I want you all to watch me. See, if you notice, the reason I'm using the corner because I'm hitting certain areas. I take my time and I watch the fade come together. Even if right now it doesn't look like I want it to look, I know that it's coming together, and I take the small wins and I keep working. All right. All right, so now that I pretty much I have the sections combined. Now I just have some more debulking to do. Obviously, there's just thick spots. Like I said, he has such thick hair. Sometimes, you know what? It's not you, it's them. Meaning, bro, sometimes your client's hair can be so thick you can put a nice fade into it, but now you have to do more debulking. That's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing for them. I mean, they're blessed with a good quality, healthy grade of hair, but now you have to work a little harder. So I take my time. I never panic. I work till I get my desired look. I have multiple ways of debulking. I debulk with the grain, against the grain. I reverse my clippers like a tiger claw method. Just take your time, right? This is where you put all your skills and assessment skills to the test. So that's what you're going to see me doing now. Just working certain areas. I'm debulking, blending, and that's pretty much how you execute this. I want you all to watch, and if I see anything I need to point out, like you see, I'm going with the grain. I reverse the clippers around. I'm using the comb, never the brush, because the brush clumps the hair up. I want you all to watch, and if you have any questions or maybe something I didn't hit, especially on this haircut in the comments, please let me know, because I definitely want to help. Because this is man, you don't realize how valuable this tutorial is, because this haircut is a difficult one. All right, so you all watch, and I'll be back soon. Oh wait, so the reason I put a towel on, I want to let it hair down. Like I said, it's been a while since Fresh had a haircut, so his hair was standing up. So what I'm going to do is lay the hair down. I'm using warm water to manipulate the cuticle, which is the outer layer of the hair, and then I comb the hair down, and I look for any misplaced spots, anything that I need to fix or work on. So you all watch, and I'll be back soon. All right, so I'm pretty sure I'll do more debulking, but I'm gonna take a break from that, and I'm actually about to work on the edge up. So if you see me debulking the edge up, and I'll be real, check this out. When you have the fade primarily, and maybe you haven't done all your touch-ups, and you feel like, damn, you know what? You might need a break from that part of the haircut. So let me do the edge up. That'll revitalize you, refresh you, and sometimes when you put a fire haircut on someone and the fade isn't done, it motivates you to enhance that or do that fade even better, right? So you have to play mind games with yourself. Now, first step, I comb the edges out. Then I'm going to take the clippers and I'm going to swipe across the front of the edge up. What I'm doing is I'm getting all the hairs that may hang over. That blade is going to be pressed firm, more hard against the base of the edge up than it is the top of the hair. Then I reverse the clippers and I actually pull the hair down. And what I'm doing is I'm thinning out the edge up in the sense of everything that I thin, my clippers are going to take off. And then I take my time and then I hit his edge up. Now, the difficult part about edging this type of haircut up is you can find yourself trying to push back because you're chasing the perfect haircut. You're chasing the perfect edge up. You will keep combing and keep edging, the next thing you know, you done pushed them back. So that's why, another reason why I debulk the edges, because I want to lay down the specific area that I want to edge. Same thing here. I stretch the skin with my offhand and I just hit the edge up where it naturally grows. The corners can be difficult, but you use the corner of the blade on the trimmer and you can execute it that easily. Then I come back on my razor and I clean it up. So on this haircut, Fresh wants to keep the curve. So what I do is I apply a modest amount of shave gel and then I'll just stretch the skin. And same thing with the razor. Like, I don't know how experienced, maybe I need to drop a tutorial on how to use the razor blade. Something I probably should do, I will do. But yeah, I stretch the skin. Whenever you're using the razor blade, the most important thing is if you can tighten that skin up, it makes it much easier for the razor to glide across the skin and then just take the hair off. So sometimes skin can be loose, it can be rigid, but when you stretch that skin, you give yourself a nice even workspace. All right, so you all watch, and I'll be back in a little. Look at me adding some bonus free content, the beard. I never show the beard. But yeah, my boy Fresh, been on the road, truck driver, getting that money, hard earned money. I'll do a beard tutorial later. But you all watch, pretty much shave it down even. Beards are fun to do. I just got a lot of beard content I need to post. But yeah, y'all watch. We'll talk about the beard later. We here for the haircut. I've been talking a lot. But yeah, one tip I will say, make sure y'all fade them sideburns in. A pet peeve of mine is freshly edged beards with no taper at the top. Talk to y'all clients and make sure they let y'all taper them tops. See y'all in a little bit. So I went back and I shaped the sides, but I didn't get footage of it. I apologize about that. But I hope you all enjoy. Let's stick around. Let's stay here together for the end of this haircut. He went from this to this. Look at him. Fresh, even, clean cut. What y'all rate this cut? In the comments, rate it. 1 to 10, what do y'all rate this haircut? I'm curious. Hope you enjoy. Stick around, more content dropping very soon, like this week soon. Stay tuned.